Aloha and welcome to ICS 314. Really psyched for this class. We're going to have a great time this semester. This module is called Pregame because it contains some things you can do if you have some extra time before the start of the semester to kind of get up to speed. So I'm going to go through the experiences real briefly. First thing is, and probably the most important thing that you can do before the start of class is to make sure that your laptop is adequate for the class. You want to have, if you're a computer science student, a developer level laptop. And that doesn't mean an expensive laptop, but it does mean a laptop where you can do development efficiently and quickly. And a lot of times that means not having to wait around for the laptop, not having the spinning balloon or bouncy ball or clock or whatever. And the way that you can avoid that from happening is by these basic requirements. The key ones are having enough RAM and having a solid state disk drive. Those are the two things you really want to have. And every semester, less and less recently, but still every semester a student will come to class and just has an old laptop with not very much RAM and a spinning disk drive, and their experience is a lot worse because of it. So if you can, before the semester starts, please make sure that you've got a reasonable laptop. Second thing is you can sign into Slack. We've got a Slack workspace called ICS 314 Spring 19. And Slack is a lot like Discord. More and more, all of you folks know about Discord from gaming and so forth. And I've thought about using Discord for the class, but Discord I find to be a very distracting environment to work in. There's a lot of blinking and a lot of noises and so forth. And I think for this class, Slack is a better choice. It has pretty much the same capabilities as Discord. And when you move into a professional setting later on, you'll probably most likely be using Slack rather than Discord, so it's a good thing to be familiar with. Functionally, not a lot of differences with Discord. If you haven't used the command line before, I know a lot of you haven't had a chance to learn about the command line, but that's an absolutely essential skill for doing software engineering, and if you can get some familiarity with the use of the command line in your particular operating system prior to the start of the course, you'll save yourself a certain amount of aggravation. We're going to be using HTML and CSS. If you have no clue about what those are, we do have a module for it during the class, but it's real simple stuff to learn, so you could get familiar with it without too much effort. We will also be using JavaScript. Now I know if you come from ICS, you're familiar with Java, and if you come from computer engineering, you're familiar with C++. Those are great languages, and in this class we're going to all together learn a third language, JavaScript, which is also a great language. I really like JavaScript a lot, and I think you will too after you get comfortable with it. And obviously it's a very important language, so I'm a proponent of knowing lots and lots of programming languages, and I think JavaScript is definitely kind of one of the required ones that you should be familiar with. Finally, we're going to be using a development environment called Intellij IDEA in the class. It's a great place to write code, and as a student you can get a free license for it. So it does have a little bit of a learning curve, so if you want to fool around with it in advance of the class, this is you can get started here. So that's the pregame module. Go through these experiences if you have time. Most important thing is the first one, making sure your laptop is decent, because once the class starts, we're going to be going full on. You're going to be bringing your laptop to every class session, so it's good to have it set up in advance. Have a great vacation and see you next semester.